What's going on YouTube? It is Repulse back in another video. In today's video, we need to talk about our left wing situation and who we should really bring into the club. Obviously, we know we have Neto, we have Nani, we have Tyreek George, but as Maresca has already said, we need a fourth winger at the very least. We could even get 5 in the door, but 2 of our wingers are right wingers. We have 1 true left winger at the club, so we really do need to talk about who should come in and our left wing situation. And the 2 that we have been linked to are Gittens, who is right here, and Malick Fofana, who is up here, who plays for Lyon. So yeah, let's just dig into it. At first, we need to look at both profiles to see which one is best for Chelsea, or just make the assumption on the players. So here we have Gittens. As you can see, he's pretty high right here where my blue dot is. For successful dribbles per 90, he's almost near an outlier. He's away from the pack right here, where most of the wingers in the world are, because he has a decent amount of progressive carries per 90 as well as a lot of successful dribbles per 90. Very good at the one-on-one situations. Very good at creating his own shot, carrying the ball down the field. He's very athletic, very quick. So it really helps him just bomb up and down those wings. So yeah, I think it's a positive sign to see that his successful dribbles are very high, and that his progressive carries are also very high. As you can see, there's not too many. You can count pretty much the amount of dots that are in front of him in 1, 2, or if you want to even just look at successful dribbles, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that are ahead of him. In terms of successful dribbles per 90, if you want to look at progressive carries per 90, there's a couple more. I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 wingers that have more progressive carries per 90 in the world than Gittens, but then only 4 who have more successful dribbles per 90. So that really goes to show how good of a profile Gittens is in terms of how good he is with the ball at his feet and how well he can carry the ball down that wing. As you can see, he's in the 97th percentile of progressive carries and 99th percentile of successful dribbles, which I think is an absolutely incredible percentile to be in for both of these statistics. 99th percentile, there's basically no one besides a couple of players in the world that are better than you at taking on defenders and being more successful at them than you. And you can see that there's only 4 right there. Progressive carries as well. A little bit more players that are better than you, but being in the 97th percentile is an honor in itself. And this was at Dortmund. He could have been a lot better this season. Definitely a lot better. But Dortmund had a change of manager. They went from a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 to a 5 at the back system. So Gittens was playing out of position for the back half of the season. So really hindered his development, I'd say, because he was playing in a position that he's not the best at. He's really, really good at that wing position. So I think it's good that we have him in consideration. As you can see, his non-penalty goals for a winger is at the 87th percentile. I think he had around 12 goals this season, and they were all in the first, or I think he had like 9 in the first half of the season or something like that. Or maybe he had 15 goals in total and then 12 in the first half of the season. All I know is he got out to a flying start the season. He looked immense. But then if we go over here, he is in the pack for expected goals per 90 as well as expected assists per 90. You can see that down here with the percentiles. He's a 58th percentile for both. So pretty just middle of the pack. There's a lot of wingers that are better at him in creating expected goals as well as expected assists. And I think this is really due to the change of manager. I think the XG per 90 would be a lot higher if he wasn't playing that left attacking mid. Because he was creating his own goals so much throughout the season. Not as much as assists. I think the 58th percentile is pretty representative of who Gittens is as a player. I think the 58th percentile for expected assists is completely fair. I'm not really going to argue on that one. He doesn't really create for others. He really needs to fine-tune his decision-making, but he's only 20. I assume that's going to grow. The more he matures, the more he develops into his own player. He's only 20. Both of these players that we're looking at today are 20, so they are going to grow into their own. There's weaknesses or strengths with both of them. But yeah, I think Gittens, that 58th percentile for assists, is perfectly accurate. I think the expected goals should be a little higher. I think he should be around this range if he was playing in the right position. I think 0.35 per 90 is pretty accurate. Really good at cutting in, creating his own shot on the curl, or blasting it into the near post. That's pretty much his trademark move. Kind of like the Mbappe where it cuts in, takes it near post, but he also has the ability to curl it. Um, his right foot is a lot stronger than his left foot. I think he really does need to develop his left foot. Um, because yeah, he's very dependent on his right foot making something happen for him rather than using both feet, like a Malick Fofana is better at. In terms of key passes, he's in the 85th percentile. I think that's good. It means he's able to play those through balls, able to find teammates. He isn't the best at picking out players, if that makes sense. His decision making, sometimes he just runs into a wall. But if he does seem to find a pass that he likes, he is able to make the pass, and I think that's one of the best things. I think the more he matures, he's gonna find more passes like that. Um, so yeah, I think there's just a lot of development with Jamie Bino Gittens, but he has laid a good base for himself. I do really like the profile. I do really like the winger. Um, as you can see, his offensive actions are in the 97th percentile, so he's always looking to carry the ball forward, which is backed up by his progressive carries as well as successful dribbles. So yeah, I do think Jamie Bino Gittens is an amazing profile. I think he's definitely someone that I wouldn't complain if he came through the door. Um, he played over 1,800 minutes as a 20-year-old at Borussia Dortmund. He played in the Champions League this season. He has a lot of experience. Yeah, just a really really good player. And the data backs that up, especially in this category rather than this. But I do expect this to grow more that way than that way. But then again, we do need a goal scoring winger. So if it grows that way, I think every Chelsea fan would be content with that. Um, but moving on to Malick Fofana, we can see here he is also, if we go back, he would be, I think this dot right here, if we look at Jamie Bino Gittens, they're pretty equal in terms of progressive carries per 90. Um, yeah, he is that dot we were just looking at. I think Jamie Bino Gittens is this one right here. You can see very good at the progressive carries, just not as good as at the successful dribbles that Gittens is. I think Gittens is a lot better of a 1v1 dribbler. I think Malick Fofana is more of the creator. Um, yeah, I think that Gittens is more, I don't want to say direct, but, gets the ball, charges towards the goal, and I think Malick Fofana is always going to look for a teammate to link up with or create a goal for them. Pretty much a provider at that left wing position. As you can see, his progressive carries we just saw were very good at the 97th percentile. Um, Basically hand in hand with Jamie Bino Gittens are in the same percentile. The successful dribbles is where it knocks off just a little bit. He's in the 77th percentile while Jamie Bino Gittens was in the 99th. But again, Malick Fofana is not really going to take on a defender. He's going to rather try to create for someone else. So that's why that number isn't as high. It's just not as frequent. But so there's less to go off of. If he had if he takes on defenders, he's more than likely going to be successful at it. He just doesn't take them on that frequently because he's mainly cutting in, trying to find a pass, trying to find a link up play, trying to find a 1-2. Um, if we look at non penalty goals, he's also worse than Gittens. But then again, he's not really a goal scoring winger. He's more of I'm going to assist rather than I'm going to score. Um, Again, a winger that is just going to look for passes that set other teammates up to score goals, which I think would be good. I'm not really complaining. I know Neto does that a lot as well. I know he scored yesterday, but he's always going to look to help someone else out with a cross. Malick Fofana is going to be more of the player that helps the striker out or the center attacking mid or the other winger out on the ground. He's going to play those ground passes, um, really link up play well. I think he's a good winger. I really like the profile, and I think for 42 million, it's a good deal. If that's what they're asking for. But I also know that Lyon are in financial trouble, so I know you could probably bargain for a little bit less. Um, but him and Jamie Bino Gittens are also in the same expected goals and assists. They're both in the 50th percentile. You can see that they're pretty much equal. If we go to here, Jamie Bino Gittens is higher in the expected assists, while Malick Fofana is higher in the expected goals. But again, roughly the same percentile. Anyone along this line is at that same percentile with Jamie Bino Gittens, or Jamie Gittens, sorry, I forget he drops the Bino. I'm just used to saying it. With Jamie Gittens and Malick Fofana. Um, you can see Malick Fofana's assists are, I think, maybe slightly higher. No, Gittens was at the 58th percentile. Excuse me. Um, his assists are slightly lower than Jamie Bino Gittens. Jamie Gittens. Jeez, I really need to get that in check. Yeah, his expected assists were slightly lower than Jamie Gittens, but I do think he's a better creator than Jamie Gittens. The data doesn't really back that up, but if you watch their full 90s, you'll understand that Malik Fofana is really that creative type of winger, while Jamie Bino Gittens is the winger that's going to look to create his own shot, kind of like a Madueke, just on his right, and a lot better of a finisher than Madueke, whilst Malik Fofana would be, huh, who would I compare Malik Fofana to? No one in the Chelsea squad. Um, Kind of like a Doku, if that makes sense. He's not he's not gonna score the goals like a Doku. Doku's good. Actually, no, because Doku takes people, or Jeremy Doku. He takes people on. That's the wrong comparison. Um, huh. I don't know. If we go to mm, Barcola, maybe. Yeah, I'd say Bradley Barcola is a similar player to the way Malik Fofana plays. Um, in terms of really good with the ball at his feet, really agile, really quick in changing direction, or like a Rodrigo Mora. If you watch Rodrigo Mora play against Palmeiras, you'll understand what I mean. Very good with the ball at his feet, really good at changing directions, very agile. A flail profile, which means he's just weaker, but then again, able to create for others more than he does for himself. But then again, if he gets in a goal scoring opportunity, he's able to score goals. Um, his key pass is pretty high percentile. That's backed up by the fact that I say he's a creator, as well as the offensive actions. He's always looking to play the ball forwards into his strikers. But if we look at them in comparison, we can see Jamie Bino Gittens here in pink, Malik Fofana here in yellow. Jamie Bino Gittens pretty much edges him out in every single category besides the carries and the expected goals and assists, which they're pretty much equal at. Um, I think they're actually equal in expected goals and assists, and then carries. Getting slight, or I mean, Fofana slightly edges him by 0.06, but dribbles you can see, James Bonagins is a lot more successful than him. Non-penalty goals as well. Um, Assists, I think this is going to go to Fofana in the future. I think Gittens just happened to get more like luckier assists because his decision making isn't all that great. Um, has more key passes, has more attacking actions, but then less carries. Also played more minutes, slightly. One more 90 basically, one more full game than Malik Fofana played. But yeah, they both look like good profiles. As you can see, they pretty much take up most of the circle, especially Gittens with these four categories right here. Even non-penalty goals, he does really look good in the data. Gittens does. Um, so this is, I guess, our time to figure out who Chelsea need. Do we need Jamie Bino Gittens or do we need Malik Fofana? Um, and for me, I think the best profile is Gittens. And this is because Gittens is more direct. He's going to score more goals. He's more physical, which means he's just acclimated to the Prem. Obviously, the Premier League is the most physical league in the world. He's a better goal scoring winger. And then he's also more athletic. I think he's really good with his pace and using the ball at his feet. With using his pace, which I think again these are all things that Chelsea desperately need. I think we need a direct winger. I think we need a physical winger. I think we need a goal scoring and an athletic winger, and Gittens is all of that. Um, if we move on, yeah, Gittens is the profile Chelsea need. Fofana is the more creative flail winger, whose positives are that he's more agile. He has a quicker change of direction, which means he's able to just like twist his hips faster, really get off defenders easily. And his decision making is a lot better. But then again, he is 5'6". I don't think he's ready for the Prem right now. I think he needs to acclimate a lot better. Um, and I think Gittens is pretty much Premier League ready. I think he could step in and do a job right away, even at the age of 20. So that's why I think Gittens is the profile that we need. Um, however, um, this is speaking on, however, from Malik Fofana, Chelsea do need the power and pace of Gittens, meaning we should spend the 40 to 45 million on him. Um, and I think that is all. But if we go back here, we can just look at Gittens' data to end the video. As you can see, looks very good in the data. If we compare him to Malik Fofana as well, they both just really look good in databases, so it's not a surprise we're linked to them because we know Chelsea love using their data to find players. But yeah, I do think Jane Bono Gittens is the player we should bring through. But I wouldn't be mad if Malik Fofana came through. I just think you need to build him up physically. But I think Gittens with the Maresca ties, the Man City Academy ties with Joe Shields, I think he is the player that does get brought in at the end of the day. But then again, not mad if either one of them come in or both. I'd be open to both coming in, but I think it's going to be one or the other. Um, but yeah, that is everything. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, it is Repulse, and I'm out. Peace.